Linux offers two native tools for task scheduling. These are at and cron. The main difference between both tools is that the at executes the scheduled task only once at the given time, while the cron runs it every time the scheduled time becomes true. For example, if we schedule a task to run at 4 p.m. using both, the at will run it only once at the upcoming 4 p.m. while the cron will run it every day at 4 p.m. We will learn about the cron in the upcoming video. In this video, we will study the at tool. Linux provides the at utility with the default installation. However, if it is unavailable, you can install it using the default installer program. DNF is the default installer on Red Hat Linux. If the package is unavailable, this command will install the package. If it is already installed, it does nothing. A binary provides a specific functionality of the package. This package offers 6 binaries. It is the main command of the package. It schedules jobs to run at the given time. It is equivalent to the L option. It lists the jobs queue. It is equivalent to the R option. It accepts a job number as an argument. It deletes the specified job from the queue. It is equivalent to the B option. Instead of the time, it runs the scheduled job when the system load drops below 0.8. It is the daemon that provides all commands, features, and functions of the at package. It is a script that runs the scheduled jobs by the at command. It periodically checks the job queue and executes the scheduled jobs based on their specified time frame. Since ATD daemon controls and provides all package functionality, it must be running to use the at and related commands. To check its current status, we can use the systemctl command with the status option. As we can see here, the ATD daemon is active and running. The systemctl command manages all daemons. It offers various options to manage daemons. The essential options are status, start, stop, enable, and disable. The enable and disable options enable and disable the ATD daemon at the boot time. The default is enabled. Both options apply at boot time. They do not change the daemon status on the running system. The start and stop options change the daemon status on the running system. The start option starts the daemon in the running session. The stop option stops the daemon. Both options change the daemon status only in the running session. They do not change the default status. To change or set the default status, use the enable or disable option. To use the at tool, the ATD daemon must be running. As we can see here, the ATD daemon is running on this system. We can use the at command to schedule tasks on this system. The at command schedules tasks or scripts to run at the specified time. It uses the system time to calculate the scheduled time. The date command, without any arguments or options, displays the current date and time. The at q command or the at command with the L option displays currently scheduled tasks. As we can see here, currently, no task is pending to run. The at command needs 2 arguments, the command that we want to run and the time when we want to run the command. There are 3 ways to provide this information: pipes, interactive mode, and a batch file. Piping is the standard shell feature. It redirects the output of a command as the input of another command. It uses a bar sign. It takes the output from the left side command and supplies it as the input to the right side command. Let us understand this feature through an example. The ls command lists the contents of the specified directory. If we do not specify the directory, it lists the contents of the current directory. The sort command sorts the given data in alphabetic order. If we redirect the output of the ls command as the input of the sort command, the sort command arranges all contents alphabetically. We can use this approach to provide the command we want to run to the at command. However, it is not as simple as it sounds. If we directly specify the command executes, and the at command receives the output, not the command itself. For example, if we use this command to instruct the at command to schedule the ls command to run immediately, it does not work. In this command, the at command received the output of the ls command, not the ls command itself. To provide the command itself, we use the echo command. The echo command prints the value of the specified variable. If we provide a quote-enclosed text string to it as an argument, it displays that as the output. We can redirect this output to the at command as the input. For example, this command instructs the at command to schedule the ls command to run immediately. The at command does its job. However, we do not get the output of the ls command on the terminal. This is because we do not specify the output location. If the command generates an output on the terminal, we need to specify the terminal path or the location where we want to display or save the output. To view the output on the current terminal, we must specify the current terminal's path. The tty command displays the current terminal's path. We have to specify this path with the command we want to run. For example, to receive the ls command output on this terminal, we must specify this path with the output redirection symbol after the ls command. Similar to pipes, output redirection is also a shell feature. It allows us to send the output of a command to a custom location. For example, in this command, we use this feature to send the ls command output to the current terminal. As we can see here, the command executes immediately and sends the output to the terminal. If the command does not generate a terminal output, there is no need to specify the terminal path. For example, the mkdir command creates a directory but does not display any message on the terminal unless it encounters an error. In that case, we can specify only the command and its arguments. We can check the destination directory to verify the command executes at its scheduled time. If the destination contains the directory, it verifies the command executed at the scheduled time. If a command supports options, we need to enclose them with the command. For example, the ls command with the L option lists contents in the long format. To schedule the ls command with the L option, enclose both the single quotes. If the command accepts arguments in quotes, use double quotes. For example, the echo command accepts the text string in quotes. If we want the at command to schedule a job for it, we will use double quotes for the command that will be passed as the text string to the at command. This command instructs the at command to schedule the echo command to display a hello message on the terminal immediately. Now that we have learned how to pass a command to the at command, let us understand the time format we can use to schedule the task. The at tool uses the system time to calculate the provided time. The date command prints the current date and time. The at command uses this time to calculate the scheduled time. It supports all essential keywords we use to specify the time. For example, if we specify the midnight keyword here, it schedules the task to run at midnight. Similarly, we can also specify the keywords noon, tea time, today, and tomorrow here. The at tool automatically converts the specified keyword into exact time using the system time and schedules the specified task. It displays the calculated time here. It is the exact time when the task will be executed. It will use this shell to run this task. It is the number of the task in the queue. It assigns a unique number to each job in ascending order. We can use this number to track and manage this job. We can use the @q command to list all scheduled jobs. These are the pending jobs. Once a job is executed, that job is removed from this list. We can also specify the exact time using the clock time. It supports both 12 and 24-hour clock time. To specify time in a 12-hour format, use AM or PM with the time. To specify the time in a 24-hour format, skip it. If we use AM or PM with a 24-hour time, it generates an error indicating the specified time is garbled. Use a 24-hour time without it. After scheduling tasks, we can list the job queue to view the exact date and time when they will run. We can also specify the time in the relative format. For example, to schedule a command to run after 5 minutes from the current time, we will use now plus 5 minutes as the argument. Similarly, to schedule a command to run after 6 hours from the current time, we will use now plus 6 hours as the argument. We can combine the time with the day or date. For example, this command will schedule this task to run at 8 a.m. next Monday. We can also use a date here to specify the exact date and time when we want to schedule this command to run. After scheduling tasks, we use the @q command to list them. It is similar to the L option. We can use any one from both. Both do the same job. To remove a scheduled task, we use the atrm command. It needs the job ID as an argument. It removes the specified job from the list. Let us remove all the tasks that we have scheduled so far. Piping is good when we want to schedule a single command or script. If we want to schedule multiple commands to run simultaneously, we use the interactive mode. To start the interactive mode, specify the scheduled time as the argument. In interactive mode, specify all commands that you want to schedule one by one. Press the Enter key after each command. Use Ctrl+D to exit the interactive mode. Any command that we place in this mode goes directly to the scheduled job list. It does not go to the shell until the scheduled time. Since this mode provides a direct way to work with a job list, we do not need to use the echo command here. However, we need to specify the output location. In this job, we scheduled 2 tasks to run after 2 minutes. The first command creates a directory on the root partition. Since it does not generate an output on the terminal, we did not specify the output path. We specified the output path in the second command, as it generates an output on the terminal. After 2 minutes, atrun executes both commands. Since the first command does not generate a terminal output, we have to verify it manually. This is the directory created by the first command. Finally, let us understand the third option. In this option, we specify a script file to the at command. The at command schedules the script file to run at the given time. A script file is a collection of commands and configurations. Shell executes it similarly to a command. All script files require the execute file permission. By default, Linux does not add this permission to any file. We have to add this permission manually. This command adds this permission. Now, let us schedule this script to run immediately. Use the F option and specify the script file path. To verify the script was executed, first check the job queue. As we can see here, there is no pending task. Now, let us check the output of the script. This script executes the echo command. The echo command generates the hello keyword as the output. This shell redirection saves that keyword to the test file. To verify this, we can check the test file. As we can see here, the file exists and contains the output of the echo command. It verifies the script was executed. Instead of the time, we can also schedule a task based on the system load. The batch command schedules a task when the system load average drops below 0.8. It allows us to run bulky scripts in idle time. We can use this command to view the current system load average. As we can see here, the current system load average is below the threshold average. It allows the atrun to execute the schedule command immediately. The B option is equivalent to the batch command. Instead of the batch command, we can use the B option with the at command. By default, all users are allowed to use the atd daemon. If we want to allow or deny specific user accounts, we have to create and update 2 files in the /etc directory. These files are at .allow and at .deny. The allow file allows users to use the atd daemon. If we use this file, only the user accounts listed in it can use the atd daemon. All remaining accounts cannot use the atd daemon. We added user 1 to the allowed list. As we can see here, user 1 is permitted to use the atd daemon while user 2 is denied. It verifies that if we use the allow file, it allows only the added user accounts while blocking all remaining accounts. We cannot use both allow and deny files together. Remove the allow file before creating the deny file. The deny file does the opposite of the allow file. It blocks added users from using the atd daemon. If we use this file, only the user accounts listed in it cannot use the atd daemon. All remaining accounts can use the atd daemon. We added user 1 to the denied list. As we can see here, user 1 is denied to use the atd daemon while user 2 is allowed. It verifies that if we use the deny file, it denies only the listed user accounts while allowing all remaining accounts. That's all for this video. In this video, we learned how to schedule jobs using the at command. If you have any queries, suggestions or feedback about this video, please share them in the comment section.